Hey guys, Omni here. Welcome back for episode 6 of season 2 of The Bad Batch. Last episode, we had a nice little Indiana Jones style Tomb Raider episode that very much reminded me of a lot of different things. Let's be honest. The entity itself just gave me some Arceus vibes, and the inner workings of the temple made me think of Breath of the Wild. But, you know, just kind of sifting through some other people's opinions and stuff like that, I did see from our buddy Kyle Katarn in the Star Wars community pointed out that it very much so does have a little bit of this iconography that looks very Zepho-like. You know, this does predate the Republic, predate the Jedi, so it is very much possible that this could be some kind of leftover Zepho artifact, which would be really interesting had they actually dived into it a little bit. But it was still a fun episode. Now, just for some people that apparently have gotten to see this episode early, he said this is a pretty good one to expect for Clone Wars fans specifically that I've seen. So I don't want to get my expectations too high. I always like to go into these pretty level and pretty grounded, so not going to get too hyped up. But guys, we're gonna go ahead and hop in. So if you want to see the full-length reaction, check it out over on Patreon, or if you become a member of the channel, get you access as well as a watch-along format. So you'll need your own footage to sync up with the time code, see my reaction to the entire episode. You get the same thing for all the other shows and movies that we cover here on the channel. You also get to suggest and vote on what movies we react to each month. We got monthly Q&As, behind-the-scenes footage, or try to make it worth your while since you are going to always support the channel. And guys, if you like this reaction, I really appreciate it if you leave a like, drop a comment, and subscribe if you're not already. That all said and out of the way, guys, let's go ahead and hop into episode 6. Here we go. Tribe. Okay. Ooh.
Sid said the Vanguard access is notorious for illegal smuggling, so be ready for anything.
Now remember, I've said this before, but for anybody just tuning in, maybe for this episode for the first time, I've seen all of Clone Wars, but I've probably forgotten so much of the things that just didn't stand out too much. So if I brush over something, I apologize. It's been a while since I've seen it.
We need to ascertain their viability.
That will not be necessary. I created these chain codes myself.
Your assurance is meaningless. Check each one.
Menacing, I love it.
Something off about this place. I don't like it.
Yeah, the whole vibe is very ominous.
We'll not stand for long. I'll prep the ship.
You don't say that. Oh!
Stop!
It's this one.
Called humanoid. Do not interfere with Vanguard access business.
Are they trafficking Jedi? Or maybe just warriors in general.
More are coming. Hurry!
Oh. Maybe they're the only captive. At least the only one making noise right now. Tricksy little Wookiee.
Not that way.
That stealth takedown, man.
What are you doing?
Looking
You need
for,
to go before they find you.
something special.
Let's get back to the ship.
Oh no.
It's okay. He's a friend. Wait! Those droids are after him.
You're not gonna look
Come
like a
on.
friend though.
The cause of that blaster fire is either Echo or Omega. Most likely Omega.
I like, how does he automatically know that? Just the sound of the bowcaster?
What sort of treachery is this?
Stay back!
I mean, it does have a distinctive sound, I guess.
They're with us.
On the contrary, the Wookiee is worth a great deal to our buyer. Alive.
You can't
Who's
smuggle
buying?
living beings.
For the right price, I can do whatever I want. I'll stand down or be destroyed.
Yes! Was that hesitation, or like, was that like a look of like somebody else might be back in there? I'm leaning towards hesitation, but like, I don't know. If they're trafficking people, who knows? There could have been maybe somebody else back in there.
Why is he sitting back there alone?
Because he's scared. He's been through a lot.
Probably doesn't
Still
like
needs
the
to
look of you
eat.
all as well, though.
Here, you look hungry.
Oh,
What's wrong?
yeah,
He
them.
doesn't trust us.
Well, seeing how all clones were given an order to execute the Jedi, he has good reason to be cautious.
We are not like the other clones. We did not follow them.
We're not like all the other girls.
It's okay. Eat.
It's poisoned.
My Wookiee's a little rusty, but I think he says his name is Gungi.
If he's trying to get to his homeworld, we can take him.
Been a while since we've been to Kashyyyk.
Have a little tropical retreat.
The Empire could have outposts there by now.
Oh yeah,
Don't
probably
know if
definitely
it's
do.
safe for him there. He's a Jedi. He's not safe anywhere.
Yeah, that's the truth.
I'm picking up heavy smoke and deforestation. Keep an eye out for Imperial outposts. Oh, kid, keep that laser sword hidden. It draws attention we don't want.
I always love when they call it a laser sword. My most intimate memories of Kashyyyk have always been like through like KOTOR. Can never escape these industrialized oppressors, man. One way or the other. Find their way back. I love this music.
Do you remember anything about this planet?
From his dreams.
Yeah, I mean, that's all. I love that about the Force, though. Like, when they're young, like, so much can still be retained. Like, it's a good way that they've slowly, like, retroactively made, like, the Leia stuff make some sense. Even Obi-Wan and his memories of his past. That's pretty interesting, because it's all just memories from their Force sensitivity early on.
They're swarming us. Hold your fire.
He says they will not attack unless we pose a threat.
The colors and the contrasting on this episode seem to be a lot more extreme. I don't know, it's something about this episode. It feels like it's just popping a lot more. Am I hallucinating? Am I making that up?
According to my telemetry, the village is straight ahead.
Maybe like the saturation is upped a little bit while we're here. Sounds about right.
Tanks came through here. The Empire incinerated the entire village.
The Empire destroyed our home too. Don't worry. We'll find your people.
Also take that back a little bit. I do have some very vivid memories of the Force Unleashed, obviously, for the whole Darth Vader sequence. Oh, the Wookiees you had to slaughter for that achievement.
Commander Venomore, we found more of those carved stone.
Stay on schedule. Blast them to dust.
Hunter! Gungi!
Oh no. We need to stop the flames from spreading.
Yo!
We were soldiers of the Republic, but let's just say we don't see eye to eye with the Empire. We came because Gungi was in trouble. Jedi or not, he's still a child. He needs his people.
I'm getting misty, man.
Lightsaber marks. Surviving Jedi. We need to notify Imperial Command.
Not if I find the Jedi first.
Okay.
Raise the jungle.
Now someone just needs to off those two stormtroopers. Sorry, clone troopers.
Hunter, the Wookiees were our allies for years. We have to do something. We'll stay and help you fight them.
They're getting involved, man.
You don't have to do this alone.
What are they doing?
They're asking the trees for help.
They're talking to the trees?
They believe this planet belongs to the trees, and they are allies in this fight.
We'll take all the allies we can get.
I love this shit, man.
The trees have a plan. All right. Whatever they say.
A bunch of Ents just come out of nowhere.
Stick to the plan. Draw them into the nest.
Are they gonna use live fire on these clones, though? They're definitely using it on the Trandoshan's. The sound he made. Oh, they're like the spider things from the beginning. They like the way they skitter is so interesting. Oh, nice. He fell into a burning ring of fire. I like that. Made himself not a threat, so they went after him. Oh God. Sounds like it's got a hint of that old X-Files Mark Snow, I don't know what you would even call it, that drippy, creepy, like, I don't know how you describe it. Even came up a couple times when Mark Snow's music in Smallville. Something, I don't even know how to describe that sound. Like raindrops on a xylophone.
You know, I could get used to this. Not bad.
Man, I love that Omega is getting to see the world and take in all of this information from all these different peoples. It's great.
Not in this galaxy.
Aside from what he just said.
When a young one leaves, leaves, the trees weep. But when they return, the trees sing. As this child has found his new home, perhaps one day, we all will find a new path.
Aw.
Hopefully, one far away from war.
Not anytime soon. God damn, man. That was a really good episode. That one definitely rivals the Crosshair episode. I don't know which one I would say was more enthralled. This one was definitely a lot more fun, a lot more action-packed. The other one was very much more meditative. It still had its action, sure, but it was very somber and thoughtful, while this one was kind of a little bit of both, but leaning more towards the action aspect of it, but also continuing the world building, the effects the Empire's had, the relationships they've built with certain factions to help them in their wrangling of certain worlds. Just perfect that it would be the Trandoshans who's had these millennia of conflicts with the Wookiees already. I'm sure they bit and chomped at the chance to come tear up their homeworld and scoop up as many Wookiees as they can get and take them back to whoever or whatever. Just burning things to the ground, man. But like, it's like the history of the Wookiees in pretty much every iteration, every timeline. It always seems to come back to this. Them being scooped up, their planet being strip mined, burned, their people kidnapped, tortured, put to work on whatever they can. If it's not a corporation, it's a military entity, it's somebody. It's just like, it's like a cycle of Kashyyyk, man. It's like depressing. Now, I don't know how much of all that's canon still to like the current timeline and stuff, but it's still like, it's a repeated theme that the Wookiees seem to always kind of be faced with in these stories, and it's just like sad, man. And I'm glad that in this moment, in this little like random deal that they had for Sid to go bring some forged blockchains to this black market dealer here, they happen to stumble upon Gungi in this trap, and yeah, it just went from there. I was like, we just kind of started in the middle of that, and I was like, oh, okay. And to be fair, when Echo was like, oh, don't worry, we're not going to be here long. I mean, I kind of expected the entire episode to take place on that ship, but no, they got off. They did get off there pretty quick. They weren't there long, but I expect when he said that, I was like, oh, that's like, it was like, I'm going to retire next week kind of things, where it's like, what did he say? It's like, it's just not going to play out the way you think. But it didn't play out the way he thought. They did have some hiccups, but it was a fun little ride, man. It was just really endearing. Again, seeing this world, seeing the galaxy through Omega's eyes in a lot of ways, and seeing how she learns and she asks questions, and she's always opening herself to everybody she meets. It's just so heartwarming to watch. At the end of the day, it's kind of sad, because like they said, at the end of the day, like, you know, it's sad when like a young one leaves, but it's grateful when they return home or find a home. They don't have that luxury right now. They don't have a home to return to. They are kind of nomads at the moment. I mean, they're hung up with Sid, but it's not, I don't know if you would call that a home necessarily. Their home is basically their ship, but they're always on the move. They don't have anywhere to settle. So it is kind of like this kind of, I don't know, bittersweet narrative that they had here, but they did return Gungi home. He was accepted into this tribe, whether it was not the one he was part of originally. It's all the same. They took him in, and it was just fun seeing them interact with the culture, with them. And I love the detail too that he was like, he's afraid of us because obviously we look like the people that like try to murder him. And probably did murder his master. But like, it's this was a fun episode. The action was interesting. It was fun. I do wonder, I don't remember if we actually saw if they killed those clones like on screen or not, because they were using their lethal rounds against the Trandoshans, and they knew a Jedi was here, and if they were left alive to go report that in, that's not good. So this might have been one of the few times they might have had to have killed some clones, or at least maybe Gungi or one of the Wookiees or something else took them off. I don't remember if we actually saw those clones die or not. If it wasn't by their own hands, at least their hands are so clean of killing their brothers. But yeah, this was a fun episode, guys. What'd you think? I hope you enjoyed the reaction. If you did, please leave a like, drop a comment, subscribe if you're not already, and sound off the comments. Let me know your thoughts down below. We'll carry on the conversation after the video. Remember, if you want to see the full-length reaction, check it out over on Patreon, or if you got a member of the channel, gets you access as well. And speaking of before we go, I want to shout out our channel legends. Manny Sherritt, Ryan Karen, Jason Coleman, Philly Vane, York, Corey Scott, Margaret Grace, Melito, Robert Anguiano, Raven McGann, Jeffrey Hale, M. Sephiroth, Jake Cantrell, Amy Becca, and Josh Lee. Thank you guys so much for your continued support. That's it for this video, guys. I'll see you all next week for the next episode. And may the Force be with you always. Take care, everybody.